What's going on, guys? Johnny GB here, bringing you guys week 4 of the Pokemon for Glory Next Generation. We are taking on Choice CJ Coach of the Baltimore Oriolus, a player that I've known for 2-3 years in the community now, and a player that's helped get me to where I'm at, giving me the first opportunity in my first Wi-Fi league, introducing me to J-Specs back 2 years ago when I did the PMC, joining in as a replacement. So I owe CJ a lot for that. But friendships aside, we're opponents this week. You guys see on his team, based on what I had on the team builder, pretty much prepped for what he was going to bring. Now, for if you guys missed the team builder, we have Choice Scarf Physical Greninja with Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, U-Turn, and Waterfall. So pretty decent. Rock Slide does hit Volcanion and Salamence. Also can check a +1 DD Salamence, so I'm able to get 2 Rock Slides off on it. I could have run Ice Punch for the 4 times, but I did need to hit Volcanion as well. I have Sub Swords Dance Garchomp because you look at his Garchomp answers, there's not many. Sub Swords Dance, Dragon Claw, and Earthquake. So pretty balanced. I can set up a sub on the Scizor or the Togedemaru potentially if it's not carrying HP Ice, or even possibly the Chestnut. Then we also have Vikavolt, just standard slow Volt Turner to get me into some of my threats. Kecleon is there to switch into the Volcanion. I am an Assault Vested Kecleon, Stealth Rock, Lycanroc, and then Shift Gear Magearna. But getting right into the battle here, a interesting battle to say the least, as there was mistakes on both of our parts throughout the battle. So he's going to lead off with, I believe it was his Volcanion, simply because my Volcanion answers aren't the best other than the Assault Vested Kecleon. I don't really have a good answer for it. He actually leads off with Tony Stark, the Mega Scizor. So one, I am not staying in because this Mega Scizor does a lot of damage to me. It U-turns, but instead he's actually going to hard swap and go right out to his Volcanion. On the turn, I U-turn. So I figured that I can U-turn because I am faster than his Scizor, and I can get out into something that can take a U-turn or potentially a Bug Bite better. So we just U-turn on the Volcanion, which is fine. I have nothing I lose by going out and U-turning, and this does allow me to get into my Garchomp to potentially check this. But instead I go to my Lycanroc simply because he only had Tapu Koko as his form of hazard removal. So this allows me to get up my Stealth Rocks because he doesn't like Pokemon switching in on Stealth Rocks. He has Volcanion that takes 25%. So getting them rocks up is very good as he goes out to tank the Chestnut. It's just the basic switch. And I can't hit Chestnut other than Fire Fang, which this Lycanroc does have. But it doesn't do very much to the Chestnut. It does about 35 to 43%, I wanted to say. So we get the Stealth Rocks up. My Chestnut switch in is only my Magearna. That is the only thing I have to switch into a Chestnut on his team. Outside of that, my Fighting Resist aren't very good, but I do go out to my Vikavolt here simply because I can lure out that Togedemaru that does pretty decent job against my Magearna, especially if it is potentially Assault Vested or just a bulky Wish set. So Togedemaru could provide to be a problem. So this Vikavolt here is to bait out the Togedemaru. So I go for the Bug Buzz here, just a basic play to get chip damage because I do need chip damage on this Togedemaru for Hidden Power Ground on Vikavolt to pick up a KO. And with that, I am able to actually do a nice chip to go along with the Stealth Rocks to weaken this Togedemaru into range of Hidden Power Ground, picking up a KO and putting us ahead 6-5 in the match. So right away, he goes for the Wish, which, you know what, is a very solid move on his part. Bring in the Wish Togedemaru because, one, it keeps it healthy, but two, he can also Wish Pass into his Volcanion to keep it even more healthy. But here comes the HP ground. Down goes the Togedemaru. We're sitting 6-5 right now, as Vikavolt did its job it needed to do. It came in to bait out that Togedemaru. And the Togedemaru was a pretty easy bring, as it is a check to my Vikavolt. With the Lightning Rod, it can switch in and take the electric attacks. It also can take on Magearna if I'm not HP ground very well. So here comes the Volcanion. And I know I can just go out into my Kecleon here and be in a very good spot, seeing as my Kecleon is Protean. It's Assault Vested, so I'm able to do a lot to the rest of his team, whether it's Knockoff, Drain Punch, Fire Punch, or Thunder Punch in this case. CJ does go for the Steam Eruption, which, I mean, you're clicking that move most of the time. You do have Volcanion. Does okay damage, does about 25-30%, and I get the burn, so now my physical Kecleon, not very good. And on top of that, I did not change the ability when genning. So two things I did wrong there were knowing it's going to be a Volcanion switch in. I should have actually brought a special variant of Kecleon, seeing as I'm going to be switching this Pokemon into Steam Eruptions. Didn't really go through my mind there. And on top of that, I did not put Protean on. So now I am color change. And that leaves me having to go out into my Vikavolt, pretty much using it as a sack at this point. Doesn't really do much versus the rest of his team. It was brought for the sole purpose of eliminating and baiting out that Togedemaru. So now CJ is going to show Flame Charge. So I really wasn't sure what the Volcanion set was, Specs, Scarf, but he does end up showing off Flame Charge. So now I'm figuring this is probably an Assault Vested variant of Volcanion. And unfortunately for me, I ended up switching out my Okaberry on my Vikavolt and putting on a Charty Berry, mostly because I needed some type of way to damage the Armaldo he had in the back. So being able to eat up a Charty Berry against an Armaldo was my thought, but I should have kept the Okaberry. But because he's +1 speed, I know my Lycanroc can still outspeed this and force him out. So I'm still in a good spot, even though I did sack off my Vikavolt. So I'm able to check this Volcanion very well. He will have to withdraw. Doesn't want to lose his Volcanion, which does a lot to my team. And he just goes out to tank, which I'm actually able to make the read and just fire off a Fire Fang here, trying to just get some damage off on the... Actually, I go for the Accelerock, my bad. This was just to scare him out, but this next turn I do go for the Fire Fang in attempts to try and just scare his Chestnut. And hopefully just try and scare him out. So the Fire Fang, unfortunately, I do end up getting the crit, which does hurt him because this thing could have been full HP after this Drain Punch. So had I gone for Stone Edge plus Fire Fang with that crit, I would have taken it out. But because of me just trying to get some damage off on this Chestnut, ended up costing me my Lycanroc. But what this does now is it allows me to get into my Magearna. With Lycanroc falling to the Drain Punch, I can now go out into Magearna and start setting up a Shift Gear, because after one Shift Gear, he no longer has anything to beat the rest of my team. And the Magearna we have this week, you guys saw in the team builder, we have Floor Cannon, Floor Cannon, Shift Gear, Hidden Power Fire, and I want to say we had Thunderbolt. So we had no Steel Stab on this Magearna. He's going to go out to Tony Stark, the Scizor as I do set up a shift gear this turn. And now that ensured that nothing on his team can outspeed me. +1 Mega or not +1 Mega. A +1 Salamence still does not outspeed me with the investment I have. So Magearna is in a fantastic spot. I know I can take any hit from this Scizor after it Mega Evolves, whether it's Iron Head, Bullet Punch, Superpower. I know I can take a hit, and 2 Hidden Power Fires will pick up a KO. So here comes the Mega Evolution into Mega Scizor. I need to find out if he's specially defensive or physically defensive. Seeing that he goes straight into it probably shows that he is the specially defensive variant. I was really unsure of what he was going for here. And he will fire off a Superpower. On this turn, I click Hidden Power Fire. I was probably expecting the defog for potentially Salamence or Chestnut potentially, just to keep the hazards off, but he just goes for the Superpower to deal damage, which now means he can, 1, swap to Volcanion on my HP Fire, which I could have seen is him potentially switching to Volcanion and now checking me, because he ended up being a Assault Vested Volcanion. So here he goes for the Bullet Punch. Doesn't pick up the KO. It weakens me quite a bit, but Hidden Power Fire does take out the Mega Scizor. Magearna gets the +1 special attack. And now what CJ has to worry about in going into Volcanion is, am I Electrium Z? He did see that I did bring Electrium Z for Gigavolt Havoc last week to take out a Suicune. So he knows that his Volcanion will not be able to take a +1 Gigavolt Havoc. So here he goes out to his Tapu Koko, which is the fine play. I do outspeed this Tapu Koko with the investment we have. So now I do have some bulk. Had Magearna been healthy, right here I can just click a free Floor Cannon. There's no reason I shouldn't click Floor Cannon. It picks up a KO on Koko. It picks up a KO on Chestnut. It doesn't matter to me. I'm picking up a KO no matter what. So here he's just going to sack off the Chestnut to Magearna. And we are in a fantastic spot now to where Magearna can just sweep the game away. Magearna will go down to -1, but because of Soul Heart, I will be back at neutral. So we're still a modest nature, or actually we're timid nature. But with the base 130 special attack, all he has left are Tapu Koko, who is KO'd by Floor Cannon, Salamence KO'd by Floor Cannon, and with the electric terrain, Volcanion now has to be scared of Z, Thunderbolt, Gigavolt, Havoc. So here comes Usain Bolt. I just fire off the Floor Cannon here. There's no reason for me not to fire off Floor Cannon. And Magearna will pick up its 3rd kill of the game here as we are able to connect the Floor Cannon, knocking out the Tapu Koko, showing who the superior fairy is in Draft League format. And with the Floor Cannon, I am now at -1 after the Soul Heart. So the one thing I am worried about, and I wasn't thinking this at the time, is potentially Assault Vested Volcanion, because all the calcs I was running were an offensive Volcanion with some form of bulk. So I really wasn't sure how much a Thunderbolt would actually do to his Volcanion. Here comes the Salamence, looking to potentially live or miss a Floor Cannon set up a Dragon Dance, which I still outspeed. But he ended up showing that he is Intimidate, which kind of confused me. I wasn't sure what he was checking. I guess maybe Lycanroc to an extent, having the Intimidate there. But we will connect the Floor Cannon, and even at -1, that will take out the Salamence. 4th kill for Magearna this game, as all CJ has left is the Volcanion, which at -2 now should actually be a little bit of an issue for me, as he did show Flame Charge. So if it is able to set up 1 Flame Charge, I do not have Lycanroc anymore to check this Volcanion. I have Choice Scarf Greninja, which if he sets up 2 Flame Charges, gets a little bit interesting if I'm able to outspeed it, because I believe I'm only EV to outspeed a Dragon Dance Salamence at +1. So 25% from rocks coming in. I fire off the Thunderbolt so that I can pick up a KO here. I was under the assumption that I pick up the KO here no matter what, even at -1. But the Volcanion tanks it like a champ. He is Assault Vested based on the damage, even at -1. And goes for the Flame Charge, where my Okaberry kicks in. And I'm able to live another day and pick up potentially another kill, depending on the roll on the next Thunderbolt. But now this is where I started getting worried, where I don't know if Greninja outspeeds a +2 Volcanion at this point. Yes, I am Choice Scarf, but I'm not sure if I'm able to outspeed a +2. I go for another Thunderbolt, and again, unfortunately, I do get some sort of hacks this week, as I do paralyze the Volcanion here. Just missing out on the KO. But the worst thing is he does get paralyzed here, and he's not able to move, which, had he set up a second Flame Charge, probably could have been interesting, to say the least, because I'm not sure if Greninja does outspeed this Volcanion at this point. So Magearna will just click Thunderbolt, pick up the final KO, and with that, we are able to pick up a 4-0 win against the Baltimore Oriolus, getting to 2-2, looking to keep this winning streak alive. It was a good game. I was not prepared for the Assault Vested Volcanion, as I do have a lot of things that an Assault Vested Volcanion does switch into. I do apologize for the Thunderbolt para along with the crit on Chestnut. Both of those pretty important plays in the game. But with all that being said, guys, if you guys enjoyed this week's P4G battle, go ahead, like the video, share the video, comment your guys' support for the Oregon Duckletts, as well as subscribe to the channels. We are almost to 250 subscribers. With all that being said, guys, I am Johnny GB, and I'm out.